Good afternoon. I'm Landon with Merman and Press. Today, not only are we sick and feel like crap, I'm talking to you about where I get some of my news. In these times, it's kind of hard to get an unbiased opinion. All right, one side or the other. I don't care. All right. I venture to guess most of everybody's in a bell curve, right? You're either left, right. Most of us are kind of heaped up in the middle, left or right leaning, whichever way. Well, there are the fringe areas, right? Either being CNN, Fox News, the mainstream media sites or mainstream media channels, however you're digesting your news, the paper. I'll tell you a couple things you need to do if that's how you're going to get your news. One, look at it objectively and try to doubt certain things, right? Try to doubt the entire excitement over a certain subject. Also, know that these channels and everything are typically paid to push an agenda. That agenda could be political, it could be environmental, it could be whatever. They're typically paid to tell news a certain way. So I have a couple sites and a couple things that I look at where I get some unbiased news, more unbiased news from around the world that I can look at very objectively and with a little bit less skepticism. And also, it's news that's not going to make it onto Fox or CNN or anything like that. So the first one we're going to get after is OAF Nation. Okay, so OAF Nation's on Instagram. They make really cool t-shirts. They make really cool hats. But not only that, they put out almost daily articles about government, world news, and things that go on around you, right? So it's not going to be so local. It's going to be very, very regionalized, but you're going to get an idea of what's happening in Africa, what's happening in the South China Sea, what's happening in Iraq, Afghanistan right now. And you can at least see where that might affect you later down the road and on down the pipe as far as news and information goes. The next one is Atlas News. Atlas News is also on Instagram. They also have an app. The app is awesome. If you subscribe to the app, you have an unlimited range of where you can dip into their articles, and it's not censored. They get into some very, very serious and sensitive topics, up to and including minute-by-minute updates when something is happening in America. They're pushing the boundary of how news is getting to people. I love Atlas News. Another thing that I have grown to greatly appreciate is S2 Underground. S2 Underground is based out of YouTube, but he does a lot more than that. Does Telegram and Instagram. And they also put out almost daily newsletters, call it The Wire. They're about to put that out into a lot more different platforms so you can get your news almost analog style, like a ham radio. And it's very interesting. Also has great tutorials on how one-time pads work, guerrilla communications, and things you're going to be needing if you're going to be fighting the good fight when something goes down. I try not to get into the prepping and the general, we need to be afraid of the current political spectrum thing on here all the time. I hope that most people are coming to me for information for home security and for little things you're not exactly thinking about if you are kind of in that realm. I want to find those little niche areas and pinpoint and highlight an area that you need some work in, right? Like I love my video about how we need to beat ourselves up, all right? Like I'm a fatso. I'm sick today probably because my health sucks, all right? So I like to get into that. It is not my job, nor would I be good at delivering news to you. I wouldn't get it to you in a timely manner. And I'm going to be very biased about things because I have my own thoughts and opinions. And you should too. So if you're not going to delve into these three things I give you, look at your local news objectively and keep track of certain things. You will see a trend. If you actually pay attention to my Instagram, I post some news stories every once in a while. There's about 50 news articles from OAF and Atlas that I've posted, and they're all kind of not what everybody's talking about. They're all kind of like, hey, everybody's talking about China and Russia. Well, what about Nepal? Everybody's talking about Iraq and Afghanistan. What about Spain? Everybody's talking about how the dollar's crashing and, we're about to go into a recession. What is going on at oil refinery in Louisiana? So get into these news sources and just understand you are not seeing the whole picture, especially when we can only digest so much information at one time. All right, so again, I will list them: OAF Nation, Atlas News, and S2 Underground. Get on board with them. They are awesome. All of them are great, and you will see a part of the world that was probably going to be in cloak and dagger if it weren't for them. So I am going to get something to eat, preferably hot and steamy. All right, so find out what's killing you, kick its ass, hug your families, and stay safe, y'all. Shit's not looking so good in other parts of the world. See ya.